What's up, everybody? It's your favorite come on down, Auto Brad's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Legend Scale Blitzwing by MechFansToys. This is on loan to me from Paul C. Tremendous fellow. Congratulations to him and his family on the recent new edition. Love to hear that everybody is doing well. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this guy, so to speak, but in order to do so, we need to start with accessories. So, he comes with the Blitzwing Skullface, which is how I got my nickname. I said on a podcast, I wish I had a cool name like Blitzwing Skullface, because we were looking at a Blitzwing Skullface toy, and somebody said, well, I'll call you Bobby Skullface, and that was that. So it has special meaning to me, even though I didn't care for animated, it has special meaning to me. This is sculpted well enough, I suppose, and then the silver is painted on and the red is painted on. He also comes with a purple sword. The blade is painted metallic purple and it is sculpted beautifully. It can also be tabbed in to the side of tank mode on the treads, and he'll hold it just fine. He also comes with his relatively iconic pistol or rifle, and it's sculpted well enough, but not a lick of paint. It too can be tabbed into tank mode by utilizing the female to male connection, and he'll hold that just fine. And let's look at tank mode. So, ironically enough, it rolls. I know you can't see that. Take my word for it. It rolls. The turret does swivel a bit. It doesn't really swivel the 360 without kind of moving it up and over that, which isn't necessarily the biggest deal in the world, but worth noting. And the turret does also, or the barrel of the, this is the whole turret, right? I don't know. What am I? General Patton. The whole... This bit, I think, is the turret, and this is the barrel. The barrel, you can move up and down. It's not the greatest range in the world, but you can do it. This is gray plastic, the beige plastic. The gunmetal silver is actually painted on, as is the purple highlights there, and they look good. Underneath, you know, you see the jet mode per usual, and that's about all there is to say about it. Except that that's how it looks next to Tiger Tracks. So let's get him transformed. And I'll tell you real quick before we do so, a year ago I wouldn't have gigged him for this, but I do think that the tank is a little wide in comparison to the turret here. Like something proportionately seems off about it. Now, it is a Legends class figure and we have to make some sacrifices, but a lot of Legends companies are making stuff that doesn't need sacrifices, so I feel like it's only right that I mention that about him. And with that, we can get started. So, I'm going to try to do this in one take. There's a lot of little flips and flaps here. I'll probably, undoubtedly forget something, but when I clean it up, I'll try to sort that out. So it's tabbed in to the body here, and then it's also an over clip there. So breaking this connection is not the easiest in the world. Flip this back and flip the gun. Actually, you want to flip this and then flip that back and then flip the gun around. And then this flap flips, this flap flips, and this flap flips. And I believe that's it. Let's do that one more again. We're going to come around here. We're going to flip this back, flip the gun out, tab that in, panel down, panel up, panel down. And I think that's it. Now, for this section, we have to replace the nose cone with the head, basically. So, open up the chest here, flip the nose cone out, and then put it in a position that makes sense for it to be a jet. And then this is on a ball peg, and then there's an additional hinge. So use both of those in concert to kind of get the head in. And I don't think it necessarily matters, I could be wrong about that, where it goes. Maybe it does. Let's try it up here. Oh, it doesn't seem to be doing any better. Let's try like that. There, much better. And then the turret, I think that's it. I think you're supposed to slide this up and then spin it, maybe? And I believe, and then slide it all the way back. Yeah, and I think that's how they recommend that you complete the transformation. So let me make sure that I've got everything. I'll clean it up a taste and we'll take a look at it. So I told you I was going to forget something, and I did. these wings need to come out, and you can get access to them by kind of opening this up here, I guess, which does cause a bend against the plastic a bit, but there might be a better way to do it. Yeah, so now you've got her, and it's okay. You know, usually I feel like a triple changer has to sacrifice one mode. I think this is probably the weakest, but it's also not horrible. You know, you can move the thrusters a bit, mainly for transformation, but you can move them. I like that the kind of weapons here are kind of self-contained. The metallic blue paint on the windshield looks great. The chest accents and stuff, which we'll look at a little bit more in robot mode, look great. The white nose cone looks great. The yellow paint on the wings looks great. Like, the deco works. It doesn't sit right. I'm sure that you could adjust this so that it has like a better center of gravity or something, but like then that doesn't look as great. So that's a little bit off-putting, but I think overall it works well enough. And there it is next to Tiger Tracks. All right, and now we'll go to robot mode. And to do so, we're gonna first open up the chest, reverse kind of engineer this and get the head out. And then you want to tuck this back down so that it sits sort of flat against the chest piece. Fold that in, and then tab the head back in, spin the head around, and then let's see. Okay, so we got to take these panels and open them up. I think you can leave this folded. Just enough to rotate this armature to the top. All right, rotate the turret around and slide it up and collapse the barrel. And then you want to spin the head around, undo the legs, open up all this, and extend the leg. And then you have to rotate the thigh to the front, but then the leg, like the lower leg, back around to the front as well. Collapse your wing. You can open up your foot. And then all of this needs to collapse back together. So we'll go ahead and do that one more again. And we're going to open up all of this. We're going to extend the leg, and then we're going to spin at the thigh, and then spin back around at the leg, or lower leg, fold in the wing, split the feet, and collapse the side panels there. All right, and then we're gonna rotate our armature here. You have to kind of bend it around to clear that peg, and you can collapse that, flip your gun up, and then this gray panel folds out, and then this whole section folds in, and it's kind of a pretty smart, clever way to kind of just completely transform that arm in a couple of moves, you know what I mean? Fold out the wrist panel, rotate the hand, fold the wrist panel back. So same on this side. It's this armature that we're going to rotate. We have to bend it a little bit against itself to clear that peg. Bring it down, bring it up, open up this stuff here. Oh no, wait, first we got to pull that in. I almost broke it, Paul. Sorry about that. Pull that against the back, fold that in, reconnect the arm, and then flip out your hand and rotate the hand around and flip your hand back in, and you're good to go. I'll clean it up. We'll take a look at it. All right, so let's talk about it. And we'll start with the head sculpt. We'll get in a little tight. It's okay. The figure itself. The head sculpt is actually one of the better parts about it, but the visor is painted with that metallic red. Looks great. And I think the face is painted white as well. And all that's done well. It's on a ball peg. It's a little loose. You can get your head up to there, down to there, swivel, confused Blitzwing look. Now, for the shoulders, we have shoulder pads. They're on their own ball peg, so they'll kind of get out of the way for you, and we have the same purple accent there. The shoulders themselves are also on ball pegs. They'll get out to 90 degrees, and they'll swivel up to 90 degrees. You have a bicep swivel. You have a single hinged elbow that gets you 90 degrees, and nothing for the wrist. Also, as you manipulate this, it has a tendency to kind of come unpegged. Come undone, right? Duran Duran. And let's see, same for the other side. The accents here are beautiful. The red and silver, the yellow and the gunmetal, as well as like the just gray breakup in plastic, all looks fantastic. For the hips, you do have this hip skirt here. It will get up and out of the way for you to get the leg this far ahead. It's not the full Monty, but it's more than you'll probably ever need. And then you also have, oh, it's interesting, isn't it? Like this is one piece of plastic here. That's hollow there in the center. Then you also have the outward movement that will get you the full Van Damme. There's no issues there. Thigh swivel, shin swivel, single hinge knee that gets you 90 degrees, ankles, you get a tilt up, a tilt down, and a rocker. So all of that works fairly well, and then there he is from the back. However, I'll also say that these panels here have a tendency to kind of come undone as well. Final thoughts wise, we'll start with the negatives, and they are mainly they're mainly two things, right? For one, there's some kind of tolerance issues across the board, fit and finish issues. The wrists are super tight, the head's super loose, so to speak. You got to kind of bend plastic against itself to clear the tabs on the flank. The turret doesn't really clear where the pins are. You have to pull it against itself there. And the second thing are pieces kind of coming untabbed. I find that the shoulders kind of come untabbed fairly often, as does the stuff you pack behind the shoulders. In addition to that, I find that all the stuff in the calves has a tendency to kind of come unpegged as well. I think the tank mode is a little too wide. That's a very small gripe, but I still have to mention it. I think the jet mode should have been balanced better or had landing gear. And another thing that I had to mention is the articulation's a little limited, mainly in the knees with the single 90 degrees, the elbows single 90 degrees, no waist swivel, etc. Now, had this been years ago, and who knows, this may be an older one. I don't know for sure, but it just doesn't really match the standard of today. It does have some things going for it, and we'll talk about that next. Positives wise, the sculpt is pretty good. Not perfect, but it's pretty good. And definitely passable for your G1 Legend shelf with no problem. 2, the paint accents are just enough to keep it visually interesting, clean, sharp, and well applied. A fair amount of the articulation still does enough to get the figure by, and the transformation between all three modes is pretty fun, which is saying something. So it's a soft recommend, but I would imagine that a better Blitzwing will come along one day. Your call. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.